Podcasting from Westminster College Studio, this is The Buzz, where we recap last week's Titan Athletics, talk about upcoming Titan events, and hopefully provide a closer look in Titan sports. This is your host, Nate LaRiccia, and my co-host,
Nick Macdonald. What's up?
We both represent Sports Information here at Westminster. Nick, how are your ears?
They're good. For those listening, we had to redo the opening segment because Nate's voice was really, really loud. My ear was actually bleeding. I have blood on my finger.
It's funny that you say for those who are listening because we had to redo it so no one will be able to listen to what we're talking about.
Well, they're going to be listening right now. What do you mean?
I mean, for those who are listening, my ears were shot.
They basically were. There's blood on my finger. You see it?
Well, how else would they know that information without listening?
I don't know. I'm lost.
Well, we have a great show. Hopefully, you'll deal with our shenanigans. And we have a great interview coming up with women's soccer senior Keely Birsic. Now we're going to talk about the top moments of past weeks and also look forward to this week. First off is the Westminster football team. They won 21-7 over PAC foe Geneva College. Joey Lane tied a career high with 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. He was named on the D3Football.com Team of the Week. In addition, Nick, there's a freshman quarterback, Cole Kanishka, threw for 238 yards. He was 19 of 26, 2 touchdowns in his first career game. Now, he did play in a couple games early in the year, but this was definitely a breakout game for Cole. Yeah,
well, his first touchdown pass was a 58-yard bomb to Connor Cox to put the Titans ahead 14-7. But I think go back to Joey Lane. The defense has been great all year, the number 1 defense in the PAC, and obviously, Geneva with a triple option, that could lead to maybe a lot of scoring if you don't know how to defend against it, and obviously the Titans did. So with Joey earning D3 Football Team of the Week, obviously speaks for itself of how well the defense, especially on that defensive line, has done this year. And Cole, obviously coming out and, you're right, it wasn't his first career game, but it was his first, big-time action, and he stepped up big, throwing for 238 yards, and, it's definitely great for the future because he's only a freshman.
Now, how many is that, Nick? D3Football.com honorees this year?
That's 5.
That's incredible. I think every year, since I've been here, we try to at least get. If we get a couple, that's a great year. This is national, so to have 5 honorees this year is a great accomplishment for the Titan defense. Speaking of Connor Cox, right now we still have 1 more game to go, which we'll dive into a little bit here. I have some great tidbits on the upcoming ECAC bowl game, but Connor Cox has 700 yards receiving. The last person, so it's the most receiving yards since 2013 when Colin Wallace had over 1,000, which is the most ever, had 1,076 yards. Before that, Nick, 2003, 927 yards by Brian Eckes. So we're talking 16 years. The second highest receiving production out of a Titan receiver.
Well, 15 years. 2003 plus 15. It's 2018. It's 15.
You include 2003. You don't subtract.
Okay.
So check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You're right. I'm wrong. Anyways, though, but Connor needs just 300 more yards on Saturday, and he'll beat that 2013 record. Regardless, though, Connor's done a great job. I think that the wide receiver crew of Bryson Paulinelli, Javon Hardy, even Joey in there, I think that they definitely stepped up when they needed to. And they've had 3 different quarterbacks this year throw to them, and it seems like that their production's not going down by each quarterback. They're always catching the balls and getting positive yards.
What did you say? He needs how many yards and he'll break?
Well, he needs, like you said, the 2013 Colin Wallace.
1,776.
So how many? You said Cox has 700. Yeah, so that's 300. or so.
Oh, so 300 game, no big deal.
Yeah,
no. I got you.
I mean, Michael Thomas did 220 2 years ago, or 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah.
But will Cox have a flip phone on both sides of the
I think if he listens, which
of the end zone?
let's hope he does, he should go buy one. I'm sure there's some somewhere. Radio Shack.
Maybe he could have one chilling in like a canoe on Lake Britain, Great Lake Britain, and then kind of go over there real quick.
Swim out to it.
Swim out.
Yeah.
Come back. We'll have time. So this week, the Titans will host Wesley College in the ECAC bowl game. What's the bowl called, Nick?
The Clayton Chapman Bowl.
Glad you're paying attention.
Thank you.
Wesley College, Nick. It's this game. After doing my research for game notes, this is like an NCAA tournament game. Do you know Wesley has been in the tournament 13, the NCAA tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
NCAA, what every team strives for. 13 straight years until this year.
I actually did know that. Is that surprising to you? Because I was reading up on the coach's bio, because it's his first year. He's been with the school for 29 years, but this is his first year head coach. And I was reading that in his bio. But regardless, yes, it's an NCAA caliber game.
NCAA caliber game. In addition to 13 straight years, they've been to the Final Four, essentially, 6 times, with the last one coming in 2014. So, and that year they lost to Mount Union, who always plays in a championship game. So, don't look at their record, 6-4 overall, and think just another team who's good enough to maybe make ECAC, but not really make it a game. But this team is known for, it's almost a given every year. Earlier this year, let me finish that sentence. It's almost given every year to be in the NCAA tournament. But this year they were in the not only top 10, but top 5 nationally ranking. And they lost some tough ones, some close games. So really, come out and cheer for your Titans this Saturday.
To counter that, though, real quick. You said don't look at Wesley's record as 6-4. Don't look at Westminster's record and think we're down either. 7-3. We lost to Wittenberg, and nationally ranked. Who were nationally ranked? We lost to Case Western, and the Grove City one we like to have back. But we also beat Carnegie Mellon at home, and we beat a nationally number 7 in the nation W&J at home. So I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and come out to Harold Berry Stadium at 12 p.m.
Now you mentioned Washington Jefferson College. They won the PAC, so congratulations to them. But their one loss this year came to, as you mentioned, the Titans. So, and you said with Grove City, they like to have that back. But at the same time, Grove City was the other PAC school to get a ECAC bowl bid. I mean, they finished very strong. Definitely probably one of the best years in program history. So nothing to be ashamed of with playing in this game. Obviously, they would want to play for a PAC title, which came so close, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
With that loss, and maybe that's why you said to have that game back. But if they would have won against the Wolverines, they had the tiebreaker since Case Western lost to Carnegie Mellon in overtime. A thrilling game there. They would have had a tiebreaker over W&J, and they would have won the first ever PAC title. Altogether, we had 3 teams compete in postseason last week. First off, the women's soccer team, they advanced. So they qualify for the ECAC tournament. Keely Birsic, who will be our guest later on in the show, they advanced. They beat Alfred University, correct?
3-2.
3-2. She had the game winner, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm quizzing you. I'm testing your research here, and that was her 7th game winner, PAC leading of the year. And they lost to Albright College in overtime in the quarterfinals. Albright was the host. So, a great finish for the Titans. Obviously, they would want that PAC tournament, which they lost in overtime PKs. I believe we talked about that last week.
Well, I think you look at this team. I mean, they have the offensive weapons, then they have the midfield that can play obviously both offense and defense, and really they're fast. I mean, Kayla Trozzi is, I mean, I want to see her run track, very, very fast. But you can look at the defensive side too. I mean, you got Reagan Morehouse, who's been like the captain of that defense, along with the first-year Camille Holschka in goal. I mean, they have so many pieces from this season that they can bring into next season. I think continue this stride of success. I mean, they are going to lose Keely, but at the same time, I think how they succeeded this season is going to be definitely a positive looking into next.
Now, we are both at this game, Nick, the NCAA men's soccer tournament. The Titans took on Capital University after winning their 5th PAC title in school history. It was a great game. The score, if you just looked at the box score, you're like, they lost 4-1, NCAA tournament, tough competition, which is all true. But they had the game tied 1-1 after a great shot by Peter Maddox. And I really don't. Maybe the last goal was like, all right, you know, that probably shouldn't have happened. But I really think it was a closer game than it looked like, Nick.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Westminster had chances too. I mean, I remember Reggie had a ball that I think was had to be 2 inches away from the right post. I mean, obviously Capital was a tough team, and they moved on. I think they lost the case though in the next round. But Peter's shot, when it went in, I mean, I got excited. I know you know that, but I think that it brought life to our team. And I mean, obviously with the 4-1 defeat, you said on the box score, it's like, oh, we lost by 3. But I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like, wow, we got like blown out or anything. I still felt after, even when it was 3-1, like if we scored one more, we could have been right in it. But we didn't. But these boys should be very proud of how the season went.
I mean, it was tied 1-1 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And now both of you, or you and I, we both write releases, and sometimes we can't be at the game, so we, you know, if it's away, obviously, and they send us a box score and we have to write a story. What do we look at? What are the statistical categories that we look at? We look at shots. We look at corner kicks. We look shots on goal. I mean, Westminster, they outshot Capital 17-14, including 7-5 on goal. Capital held a slight edge in corner kicks 8-6, but you know, yeah, it was 4-1, and you think like, oh, like we weren't even in it, but no, we had plenty of opportunities and nothing to be ashamed of for the Titans. Our final Titan team that was in postseason action was the volleyball team. They had earned a first-round bye in the ECAC tournament, and they played Lebanon Valley. They lost 3-2. You know, tough match. It went obviously 5 sets, but they lost 16-14 in the 5th set. So really a back-and-forth contest. The sets that they lost, the first set 25-12, third set 25-13, but they kept countering. You know, second set they won 25-18, fourth set they won 25-19. So really a game they could have won. I know it was disappointing, but you know, a great postseason run, a great season overall for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to find the positive spin, obviously, when you lose a game like that. And but I think there are a lot of positives that came from this season, obviously, and one of them was senior libero Rachel Moore, 41 digs in that Lebanon Valley game. Do you know where she stands, Nate, in the Division III?
Currently?
Yes.
Top 5.
Yes. Do you want to take a guess of what number?
4.
How'd you know that? Did you already look it up?
Because this is what I get paid for.
Okay. Well, you're right. 4th in the nation among all Division III schools with 708 digs. That's 700 digs. I think 600 digs alone is a great season, but 700, obviously only 3 other players in the nation have done that, or have more. So, I mean, and no pun intended on the more. But, I mean, great season by her. A great season by the Titans in general. But, obviously, I think they wish they maybe had that 5th set back, but 30-4, fantastic year.
You act like you know a little something about liberos.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I don't think for the listeners, my girlfriend is a libero.
Who else would it be for?
Maybe the viewers, maybe they're just watching. Maybe there's a camera in here.
So, shout out to Kara. Has she listened to any of these podcasts yet?
Nah, probably not. She'll have to listen to this one though.
Have you even told her about it?
Yes, I have.
What she say? What do you jokesters talk about all day?
Well, she's not gonna know what's coming when we give her a shout out, and now she's probably gonna be embarrassed. But sorry, Kara.
So that wraps up our fall teams. So the football game on Saturday will be the last fall competition for Titan Athletics, and then it will be full swing winter sports, and which will start with the swimming team right now in our recap segment. David Peffer for the men's swimming and diving team. He posted 2 first-place times in 200 free and 200 back, and also swam in a first-place 200 medley relay against Worcester College. The Titans defeated the Fighting Scots 172.5 to 125.5. So a great start by Peffer. I mean, I think he continues to get things done in the pool, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the same exact races, but he won 2 individuals and 1 relay last week against Allegheny. So, I mean, that's in a matter of 2 weeks, that's 6 wins. But, I mean, the men's team both teams, I should say, look very, very strong. The women have played some great competition in Worcester and Allegheny. But the men, obviously, they're winning by a pretty good margin. And I think they have they have Trevor McCabe, freshman. He won 2 races. Obviously, you got diver Connor May, who's still winning every event that he competes in. So, I mean, that men's team is obviously going to be very strong this year. And, I mean, the women, too. Like I said, I think the competition has been very tough, but they'll look forward to W&J today, seeing them bounce back with a win.
So the men's team is 3-0 in dual meets so far, undefeated, while the women's team is 1-2, but like you said, tough competition. Let's not forget Caitlin Fast, the junior. She was victorious in the 1 meter and 3 meter dives against Worcester College. So, you mentioned Worcester's tough competition, and they definitely are. But Caitlin Fast, showing what she's made of, and she's she's all region for a reason. Every year she's right in the thick of things, getting her marks, and we're looking forward to seeing what she does this year. The women's basketball team, their season is already underway. They opened at Penn State Beaver on Monday. They lost a close contest, 52-47. In the fourth quarter, Titans outscored the Lions 19-11. So they really finished strong, but just came up short. All-conference junior Emily Fromneck, I feel like she's a senior the way she really stepped up her freshman year, first year. But she's only a junior, but was very close to getting a double-double. She had 15 points, 8 rebounds, which were both team highs. They continue their season this weekend at the Susquehanna Tip-Off Tourney. Last but certainly not least is the men's basketball team. They will open up their 2018-19 season on Friday with the Buzz Riddle Classic. They will host Defiance on Friday at 8 p.m. and SUNY Geneseo at 4 p.m. Sometimes people say Sunny or SUNY.
Or SUNY.
That's way too long. So 7th-year head coach Kevin Soroki will look to get his team on the right track early on. They were picked to finish second in the PAC, according to the coaches poll, with 1 first-place vote. So a very special day on Friday. They're going to announce the Ron Galbraith Court before the 8 p.m. tip-off. Now, we are thrilled to be joined by women's soccer senior Keely Birsic. Keely, Thanks for getting up this morning and joining us on The Buzz.
Thanks for having me.
Did you know what The Buzz was before I emailed you?
I actually did. I've listened to all the podcasts so far. So.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Playing to the crowd. All right, softball questions from here on out for Keely Birsic. What's been your favorite segment so far?
Well, it might be because I'm biased, but I like the one with Frida. Yeah.
He was good.
He did really well. Well, thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Hopefully this will be your favorite. So far after we're done. Another great season by you. Your second first team All-PAC nod, your third All-Conference honor of your career. This year you led the PAC in points with 35, also first in goals with 14, and third in assists with 7, and first in game-winning goals with 7. What do you attribute to your success?
I think a lot of it has to do with the team as a whole. I may score a lot of goals off free kicks, but I'm not the one getting those free kicks. A lot of those came from Kayla Trozzi, and a lot of the opportunities come from everyone else on the team, and just the coaches pushing me to do my best. It's pretty much all it takes.
Now, wait, you said it was Kayla. Is it Trozzi or Trozzi?
I don't really know. I just say Trozzi.
Okay.
So
But you said Trozzi in that last sentence.
it's probably like
both.
whatever just comes out. at the
Kayla,
time.
please tweet at us how to say your last name.
As long as she answers, right, or acknowledges that you're talking to her,
Yeah.
it's okay. Do you guys have a lot of nicknames on the team?
Yeah, so we have a couple people with the same name. Ash Frank, Ash McNabb. They're both Ash, but they get their last names. And then we have the two Reagans. Kiki, obviously, is Kiki. Kayla's Kay. Like, everyone's name just pretty much gets shortened. It's just easier when you're in the game.
What'd you say your nickname was? Do you have one?
I think they just call me Key.
Key?
Yeah.
What's Garish's nickname?
A lot of people call him G-Man.
So we're having a small debate in the office, and I said, so when he won the Coach of the Year, props to him for men's soccer team, went on to nationals, but a lot of his colleagues called him G. Like, congrats, G, just G, not G-Man, not G-Money or anything like that, but it's G. And I was like, I think, I've been here almost 7 years, that I could call him G, and he'd say, all right, yeah. What do you think his response would be?
He'd probably enjoy it,
He would?
honestly. Yeah.
Well, there's also Gabe, too. And he's G.
But I
Yeah.
mean, it's Garish Dakar, though. I mean, he's been here decades.
Yeah, it's true.
Gabe is reaching there, though. That first decade,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true.
he's getting there. Well, this is one stat that I found very interesting, Keely. Out of all your goals, so every year since your sophomore year, you've been the leading scorer on the Titan program, but you've only had one career hat trick. Is that true?
Yeah.
And that happened this past year, October 9th, against Teal. What do you remember about that game?
I just remember that the first half, we got off to a really slow start. It was senior night, and I know the seniors really wanted to win, and I think we were all just had a lot of adrenaline, and we just couldn't really connect with each other. And then we got the free kick, and I scored, and I don't know, it was just a great feeling. And then I think the momentum just picked up from there because everyone realized, like, oh, like, we can do this, like, we can beat this team. And I think it just took off from that point.
Was that the free kick that was from like 45 yards away? Is that the same game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
How far could you kick? Like, if you start from the goal line, and it was just just kind of, doesn't have to be a real game scenario, but if you just boot as hard as you could, how far? Have you ever tried it?
I mean, I almost scored from the half this weekend in ECAC, so probably from 50 yards out, I'd say. I don't know.
I mean, so like not with the roll, but just straight up boot right at first line. Do you think about 50?
Probably around there, yeah.
It's pretty good.
That is.
I mean, not only, I mean, I know you have that skill to not only hit it hard but accurate, and I know that's the key in soccer, to have both of those skills.
Can you talk about the ECAC goal against Alfred? We kind of, I think we saw it on film, but it kind of looked like you just actually booted it kind of as hard as you can towards the goal, maybe for someone to maybe get the second ball, but it actually went in.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is I actually couldn't see the goal because of the sun and there were people in the way. So, like, I had no idea that I had scored. So I didn't know I scored until everyone else started celebrating. But, yeah, we all really wanted it that weekend, and time was ticking away. So I just, as long as it went towards the goal, I figured at least someone could put it in. So
It turned out to be you.
yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the Eastern College Athletic Conference Tournament. You know, Titans were making their second straight trip there, 4th overall. You know, talk about your overall experience at the ECACs.
Overall, it was really good. I think even late in the season, we bonded even more as a team. You know, we were coming off the loss from PAX, but we knew that we could still potentially win something that was still important. And we really wanted to do it for each other. And I know a lot of the girls said that they'd want to do it for the seniors, which I really appreciated. And then we really wanted to do it for Gabe, who was coaching Saturday, and then Girish came up Sunday, and I know we wanted to win for him too, but unfortunately we just couldn't do it.
Now, with you mentioned the PAC tournament. You know, both postseason losses in the PACs and the ECACs. You know, heartbreaking. You know, fashion. You know, thrilling endings. You know, PKs against Grove City in the championship game. How do you kind of regroup? I know every year you strive for that PAC title. Every team does, and you know, when you get so close, and you're like, all right, you know, this year wasn't our year, but we still have an opportunity to play postseason action. Yeah, it's not the PACs, it's not the NCAAs, but it's still ECACs, and it's still, you know, very qualified, you know, legit teams, you know, that didn't make it in their respective conference tournaments. But, you know, there are standards. Not anybody could just play in the ECACs. You know, how do you regroup as a team to continue on?
I mean, I think this year was different because we were so close to PAC. Like, you know, we were leading the game pretty much the whole game, and then we lost it in the last 20 seconds. So that was really tough. I know it took a toll on, I think, everyone. So we just, you know, we pretty much just talked about how it was the past. You know, we couldn't do anything to change it, and we had a really good opportunity still to go and do something good and finish out the season how we wanted to, with a win in a championship that was still really important. So we just tried to focus on the next game, because you can't change anything about the last game you played. And I think we did a really good job of that, based off of how we did Saturday.
Now you mentioned earlier that you do score a lot of goals, whether it's PKs or free kicks. Is there one goal out of the 4 years you played here that you just remember the most, that was your favorite, or maybe it won a game, something like that?
It was actually my very first goal freshman year. We had been on rain delay, so I don't know. I had a lot of adrenaline. It was just the most memorable for me, I think, because it was the first goal of our season, and it was the first goal of my collegiate career, and I can just remember the whole play, and I'm just really happy that it had been with that group of girls at that time too. So
you went to LaRiccia Catholic, right? Is that right?
LaRiccia, yes.
Yeah, I feel like I stumbled upon that. From North Ridgeville, Ohio, shout out. That's where I'm from. That's where I live. How many career goals did you have there?
Oh God.
Did you keep track? Did your parents keep track?
I think the school kept track, but I don't know. I definitely.
Too many to count, right?
School record?
I
possibly
got the school record for assists. I know that. No, we had a senior. Her senior year, I think she got the school record for most goals in a season. It was like close to 30 or something like that. So, yeah. I think the most I maybe scored in a season was like 10 or 12. So, but yeah.
No big deal. Double
Yeah,
digits.
Sure.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up with the assist. You know, I think a lot of scorers in soccer, or a lot of, you know, the top players on their team, they're all about goals. But you, I feel, put just the same amount of importance on assist, with, you know, being third in the conference with assists this year, and I think every year. That's just as important. Point total wise, obviously, statistically, it's not doesn't give you as many points. You know, you obviously get 2 goals or 2 points for a goal and 1 point for an assist. But, you know, do you get more satisfaction with a, you know, well executed through ball or a well executed free kick?
Basically, the question is, do you like giving gifts or receiving gifts?
Well, I'd probably say giving, because I'm going to be happy if we win no matter what. And if I don't score, that doesn't matter to me. But if I can play the perfect pass that'll get us a goal or get someone else a goal, then I'm perfectly happy with that. And honestly, if I have more assists than I do goals, I would be totally happy with that. It means that we're winning games and other people are scoring and doing well too. So
It's all about getting that dub.
oh yeah.
So the 3 of us in this room know that the weather here in Western Pennsylvania is some of the best in the nation, which is obviously a joke. Is there a game that you played in your 4 years that you just like, you were out there and like, I don't want to be out here? Not that you don't like soccer, but it was just so cold or wet, rainy, anything like that?
Yeah, it was actually I believe it was the W&J game this year at home.
Yeah, I was there.
We had like all 4 seasons, and I think like the first half of the game, it was terrible. It like hailed at one point.
Oh yeah. The one at home. Yeah, I remember that, and that went into overtime too.
Yeah, it was
I
terrible.
remember it was like sunny one for about 5 minutes, and like I thought maybe even hailing the next 5.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was not fun.
You know where Nick's from?
Arizona.
Yeah, how'd you know that?
Because I listened to podcasts.
See, wow. Thank you.
We should quiz her. We should think of something that was very unusual during a podcast and mention it or ask it. But I have faith that she listens to all 3. Now, you went to Excalibur. You played at Excalibur club team. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excalibur. That's a very intense name. I've noticed one thing with collegiate soccer players, maybe more in particular with Westminster, that playing on a club team, in addition to your high school team, it's very important in your process with you know, getting better individually, or you're just, you know, what's talk about your club experience and how vital is that to have that extra additional experience?
I think it's really important because I know for me, my coach actually played professionally for when Cleveland had their pro team. So I learned a lot from him and all the coaches at the club. But it's just another level from high school. And I think it's really important to experience that because I think club is a lot closer to how collegiate play is than high school is. And then you're playing with other girls that are at that level, because I know in high school not everyone plays club. So sometimes the level's not the highest of play. But then with club, you know that you're always going to play against really good teams, and you're always going to be playing against the best players in your area. So it just gets you a lot of preparation for college.
How does that work? So obviously the soccer season is during the fall, right? So when you play club, is it just a summer only, or spring, or
club started right after tournament play is over in high school. It's like the week after. So we're playing club from winter probably through the end of July. And then the end of July, you start doing summer high school stuff.
Wow. It's nonstop soccer.
Yeah.
Are you a big FIFA fan?
I
Playing or watching? guess I should say.
I'll-
Video game? Are you into video games at all?
Not
What's up?
really.
No.
I'll watch it, but like I don't.
Even
I don't
games
really
on your
partake.
phone or anything?
No.
No. Okay.
Who's your favorite soccer player in the world?
Messi.
Messi. Why is that?
Just the level of skill that he has, and he's really a playmaker. And I like the fact that he's not selfish. So when he plays, he's not worried about always scoring. He wants to win too, which is kind of how I look at it. And I just can really relate to that. And it's all about winning. So
He just has to pay his taxes. He'll be all right.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's nice.
What's been your craziest celebration that you've done? Now I feel like my experience, watching the women's soccer team here, it's pretty chill. I know Trozy, her and Melissa Thomas last year, they did some kind of funky handshake. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if you remember that, but also last year, I remember Maddox and the guys team. I feel like they really put emphasis on celebrations. I don't know if it's because the first year live streaming, they wanted the world to see. But what has been your craziest celebration, or most excited, I should say, if you can't remember a celebration?
Um,
I feel like you're pretty chill. I think you're like Barry Sanders. I don't know. That's probably Nick probably doesn't know who he is because he was born last week, but. He would score this crazy 99-yard touchdown run. He would hand the ball to the ref, go back to the bench. Let's do it again next possession. Is that kind of your mentality?
Yeah, I'm not really one to celebrate. Our team isn't really one to celebrate, but I do remember when we played W&J at W&J. Whenever we scored, we were like hype. So I think that's probably the most excited I've ever seen our team after scoring goals. So that was pretty good. But I think my favorite celebration from one of our players on our team was Kayla when we went to Hiram last year. She ran to the corner flag and took it out and did karate with it. So, she got a yellow card, but it was probably the greatest celebration I've seen so far.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember watching the live stream, and I remember seeing Garish's reaction.
Yeah, he was just kind of
That's what stands out. He wasn't upset?
No, he was laughing, actually.
He was? Okay. That's good. All right, so I know you know what's coming next, Keely.
Rapid fire.
Yes, rapid fire.
She's our favorite guest. My favorite guest thus far. We'll close up with we'll do rapid fire. That's what everyone's waiting for. That's why people tune in for rapid fire.
Yep.
It's too bad that we didn't think of the questions ourselves, Nick. One of these weeks.
You didn't need to tell them that. Now they know.
One of these weeks. We improvise. We tailor it towards our guest. But then we'll wrap up with Keely's post-graduation plans and kind of go from there. But Keely, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you listened to last week's podcast, which you said you did, you'll be prepared for these following questions. So you know how it works. I'm not going to explain how it goes down. Usually, I give a heads up to our guests, but Nick usually takes the ship. The first question. You ready, Nick?
And the first question is the last song you downloaded.
Natural by Imagine Dragons.
Ooh, yeah.
What's something you could eat for a week straight?
Potatoes.
Would you rather wake up to an air horn blowing in your ear every day, or wake up and have to run 4 miles every day?
I'll take the air horn.
That's what I would do.
This one's new from last week. Invisibility or super strength?
I'll go with invisibility.
Polka dots or stripes?
Stripes.
Would you ever go to a movie alone?
No.
What's a country you'd be okay never visiting in your life?
I'll go with.
Here's a question. What country did John say last week?
He said Russia, didn't he?
Ooh, wow, you did.
I want to go to Russia though. Probably China.
Okay.
If you were given the opportunity to fly into space, given today's technology, would you take it?
Yes.
Would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach, and both are in a bad mood?
The mini hippo.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
When was the last time you stayed up past 4 in the morning?
Last week.
Wow. Studying or
Capstone.
capstone?
Yeah.
Which you're missing to be on this podcast.
Correct.
Kind of. Was that bad putting on record?
The teachers
don't
don't
know.
listen.
We appreciate it though. If you need an excuse, we'll write it up for you.
When you fly on a plane, do you wear a neck pillow?
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
What color? Does it matter? As long as it's comfortable.
I think the one I have is blue.
Makes sense. Titan blue.
Yeah.
How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale 1 to Mariah Carey?
0.
John said Beyonce, and I feel like that's like,
He said he is Beyonce,
oh,
or he didn't like our question. If you remember,
Yeah, he didn't think Mariah Carey
He's like
was the
Mariah
best.
Carey's not even that good. She's not fire.
so you'd say 0.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that question, or would you replace Mariah Carey with somebody else? Who do you think's
No,
the
I
top
agree with
singer?
the question.
Okay,
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
Black beans or refried beans in your burrito?
Neither.
Neither. Oh, okay.
Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable?
I say vegetable.
Yes.
That's the correct answer.
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Sour Patch Kids.
All the way. Super Mario Brothers or Zelda?
Super Mario Bros.
If Tupac appeared before you right now, what's the first thing you would ask him?
Probably Who Killed You?
Who killed you?
Yeah.
Well, how do we know he's dead? I like this is probably my favorite question. John didn't think he was dead.
Who shot at you? Right? Because if you're seeing him, I mean,
He could be a ghost.
he could be.
Like that hologram. Remember?
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Ooh, I don't believe in ghosts. Although, have you ever been to, real quick, as it's obviously sidetracked, Savannah, Georgia? You been there?
Yeah, I have.
You have. That's
Mhm.
like one of the most haunted cities in America. So it's awesome. Anyways,
It's my turn.
yes.
What temperature do you like your thermostat at?
Probably like low 60s.
Low 60s?
Yeah, like 64.
Holy heck.
You're from Arizona. What do you want?
Yeah, that's cold. All right, would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Speak every language.
All right, last one, unless we think of more. Is it wrong for a vegan to eat animal crackers? It's a great face.
I'm just gonna say yes because they're animal crackers. They're animals.
It
That's
makes
very
sense to
true.
me. It's all about the principle of the whole thing anyways,
Yeah.
right? So it's all on your mind. Well, thanks for playing this week's version of Rapid Fire, the Buzz style. We got to start thinking of more creative questions, I think. Or not creative, but switch it up every week, even though,
Yeah.
add it to your plate.
All right. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
I don't do too much.
No, you don't do anything. Now Nick's gonna take a picture of this pod so we could have it on file. Nick's he's all over that. Now, Keely, you're a biology major, correct?
Yes.
What is your postseason plans? What are your postseason plans?
I'd really like to go to grad school, get my master's in biology, and then hopefully by then I'll figure out what I actually want to do with that. But yeah, it's a plan so far.
Would you ever consider being a coach, like a GA, while getting your master's, or?
I've actually been looking into programs for that, so yeah, it's kind of high up on my list.
Not biology, obviously. You got to be smart. Are you good at chemistry?
I hate chemistry.
You hate chemistry,
Yeah.
right? I agree with that. That was my only bad grade in high school, and then it made me switch my major twice in college because of chemistry. But so biology, like, what would you want to do? What would be your career, your ideal job?
Well, it's definitely changed a couple times, but Right now, I'm definitely leaning more towards physician's assistant. So something like doctorate like that.
You got anything to add, Nick?
No, it's,
Nick just got back
yeah.
taking a picture. I don't know why it was such a struggle.
It's a Kodak moment.
Had to get the right moment.
Every picture is. Oh, sorry, I just kicked you. Every picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
How long is your class till, Keely?
9:10.
Ooh,
Thought we could do both.
still just enough. Well, what's the plans the rest of the day?
Keep working on capstone.
When's it due?
Tomorrow.
Oh, it's due tomorrow. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
What % are you at getting it done?
I just have like the rest of my poster to do, which is like to finish up my discussion. So almost there.
I'm glad, Nick, you brought up the capstone, because pre-air or recording, we were talking about the topic, but it didn't make the buzz. So, Keely, what is your capstone on?
I am studying how birds change their foraging behaviors in different levels of habitat cover and predation.
So, in layman terms, you want to find out what?
So I want to find out if they will essentially stop feeding at bird feeders if there is a predator near them.
It's like all together, or just during like eating time? You know what I mean? Like, if there's a bird, if there's a cardinal eating, and then there's a squirrel. I don't know, is a squirrel a predator of a bird? I mean, they're not going to eat the bird, but you know what I mean? That's going to scare them away a little bit.
Yeah, so like I'm playing like hawk vocalizations and then seeing how they react to that. If they fly away and don't come back is pretty much what I'm studying.
So don't come back ever to that feeder.
At least while I'm there.
So what made you want to study the birds?
Well, my advisor is Dr. Dewar, and she's really into birds. So we kind of just came up with it together.
Played to the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Do you like birds, Nick?
Actually, I do.
What's your favorite bird?
You said cardinal. I love cardinals. Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, shout out.
Good one.
I also like blue jays. Obviously, the big ones, like all that are an MLB mascot. Orioles,
That's a good point.
pigeons.
Keely, do you have a favorite bird?
It's actually the cardinal.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I'm studying too, so yeah.
Okay.
I actually one
Interesting.
time I slammed on my brakes in the middle of the road because I saw a cardinal in a tree.
Respect.
Yeah, and I just pulled over, got out of my car to take a picture, but flew away.
Well, Keely, let us know how your findings work out. So, I mean, that's kind of I would never think about that topic, but it's interesting. I mean, that's the whole part of the nature system, ecosystem, if you will, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How the world works. But Keely, thanks again for joining us. Great year, great collegiate career. You definitely left your positive mark here at Westminster, and some great playoff runs. And thanks again for joining us, and good luck rest of the year.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keely.
Thank you to all our listeners for checking in for this week's The Buzz. I am Nate LaRiccia, and you are
Nicholas Macdonald.
For all those, for the listeners, for all those listeners listening. I think you had like 2 of those references this morning,
Yeah.
Nick.
That's
Do you realize the weirdness with that?
No, I don't. I mean,
So you're like, for those who are listening, and then you say what you need to say.
well, I don't know. I may. You're right. It is. What's it? Not redundant, but it's.
But at this time, speaking of listening, so my parents, first of all, for their support, their love and support. I know you never met my oldest sister, Nick, Rachel.
Mm-mm.
She's a big supporter of The Buzz.
Hey, Rachel.
So thank you for your love and support, Rach. The younger sisters, Dawn and Michelle. So I have 3 sisters. Did you know that?
Yes.
I think you only met one of them, but Dawn. But I'm not sure if they've tuned in, but I'm sure I'll be either given a hard time or nothing at all. If we'll find out if I'm right there. But I think you mentioned that your parents have no idea what this is?
No, they do. They just haven't listened.
They're not podsters.
No, not really. I mean,
So
more of like PTI guys.
it's a great show. So in Kara, you said she hasn't listened either, but she might listen to this one. You'll probably just send her like just a clip of the shout out, but then that's it.
Well, I'd be remiss to do a shout out for you. A little overdue, but congratulations on your first child, you and your wife Lauren, with Lily Ann, right?
That's too much public information.
Well, regardless, congratulations. She's already a Packer fan, as I've seen pictures. So
I appreciate it. Her and Mom are doing well. We keep telling ourselves sleep is overrated, and but God is good, and she's definitely a blessing, and guarantee you she listens to this podcast.
yes,
She hears it. Her eyes open real wide. If you like this show and want to hear the Buzz past shows, check out the archives on TitanRadioLive.com and also athletics.westminster.edu. Go into Inside Athletics, click on podcast. It's also, this is breaking news, it is on iTunes.
wow.
I don't know if I told you that.
No, you didn't.
We need to refine the description, but the logo's there. You could find it. But I got a notification that said it was verified.
Wow.
By
We're gonna make
iTunes.
it big.
Join us next week. We will talk about the NCAA playoff atmosphere in the ECAC bowl game that the Titans will host. It's the first time hosting since '94. That's when you were born, correct?
No, I was 95.
There goes my stat line, and we'll find out who our guests will be, or do we know? Do we ever know? But it doesn't matter. They all turn out great.
Thank you for listening, listeners.
Join us next week. Follow Titan Athletics on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And for all things Titan Athletics, including feature stories, schedules, video, and everything in between, go to athletics.westminster.edu.